Alan Meadows served as UNC Pembroke's 8th Chancellor from 1999 to 2009 and was at the forefront of major progressions for the athletics department, including the additions of women's soccer, women's golf, and football to the varsity program. Across his 10 years in Lumbee Hall, new facilities were constructed on campus for football, soccer, softball, and track and field, while the English E. Jones Center also underwent a comprehensive renovation that included the addition of athletic training, office, and lobby spaces. Campus enrollment more than doubled under the leadership of Meadors as well.
I think what I feel best about is this group represents individuals who have gotten to where they were by working hard. And I have respect for people who work hard regardless of what it is, athletics, music, art, science, you name it. And this is a group on our campus that have proven that through hard work and dedication that they can succeed. And anytime I can be associated with a group like that, I'm pleased. The community got more involved. The community's always loved this university and always been involved in it, but it was great to see that as we grew, the community became even more involved in the university. And I think that the term we often use is town gown. I think the town gown relationship between the university and the community got even stronger during that period. And that makes a strong community and it makes a strong university when you have a good relationship and build on that. Anything I contribute to that I'm proud of, obviously, but university is a growing entity. I'm so excited about the future for UNCP. I think it's unlimited. There are things on the horizon I think that will just, again, be just major changes for the university, positive changes for the university, and I'm real excited about that.
Man, when I think of the qualities that Chancellor Meadors had, there's several that come to mind. First is vision. This institution was kind of stagnant as an enrollment, around 3,000, 2,900 for almost 2 decades. And he had a vision on how we could grow enrollment. That same vision applied to athletics. I think that when historians are going to take a look at this institution, whether it's today or 100 years from now, they're going to look at his leadership chapter as significant, especially in athletics. There's not many chancellors or presidents that create 3 new sports and within a very, very short window had all 3 of them qualify for the NCAAs. Football did it, women's soccer did it, and women's golf did it. And that's because he got that you just don't create a sport or a program, you've got to give the coach the resources, and he was fantastic in doing that.
My wife and my sons will tell you that we came to this community in 1999, didn't know a soul, and we left in 2009. Well, the boys left earlier than that, but we left in 2009, and made friends and met people and worked with people that are just wonderful people. I'm honored that there are people at the university that felt like I contributed enough to be considered for this induction, and I am very pleased and honored by that.
Jamie Clarke played in 64 games with 60 starts across her 4-year career in the black and gold, and amassed 175 shots to go along with 24 goals and 19 assists, on the way to playing a part in 50 victories for the club. The talented midfielder earned all-region laurels from the National Soccer Coaches Association of America, following both her sophomore and junior campaigns, as well as a trio of all Peach Belt Conference honors. She was also named the PBC Freshman of the Year in 2003.
When the athletic director called me, I was completely baffled. I could not believe it. I was surprised, flabbergasted. I just never imagined in a million years I would be honored and awarded with something that's so great. And this pool of athletes that are in the Hall of Fame are some of the best athletes in the country, and some that have played the sport are the best athletes in that sport. So just completely surprised, humbled, honored. I just can't believe it. Still to this day, I'm in complete shock. To have graduated 14 years ago, and then you still have this lasting legacy, and you're still in this conversation of these amazing athletes that meet every year to induct people into the Hall of Fame. Again, I'm getting goosebumps right now because I just can't even believe that I'm joining this group of athletes, and for them to even think of me years later, you know, obviously it means something. I had an impact on the sport, an impact on the school, and I just couldn't be more grateful for this.
Well, lots of things come to mind when you think about the qualities that Jamie brought to our program. As a player, she was technically gifted. She was a superb athlete. She was extremely driven, always willing to put in the work. She was very coachable. She was a player who constantly challenged you as a coach, wanted more knowledge, wanted more information, wanted to improve. And you can't ask for anything more as a coach, a player who is not only talking about being a champion and being a special player, but willing to put in the work. And Jamie embodied all of that and really proved that she was capable of overcoming some hurdles in life. And I'm extremely proud of Jamie. I'm proud to call her an alumni. I'm proud to call her a Hall of Famer. But most importantly, I'm proud to call Jamie Clarke one of my friends.
There's several people that I would like to thank. I wouldn't be sitting here without them. I have to start with my parents and my sister. They are my backbone. They're my biggest support system. They're my #1 fans. My teammates, like I said, 90% of us grew up together and played club soccer together. Without them, I never would have made it this far. My youth coaches, so Danny Jones, Holtzford, Miller, they were my school coaches, but again, never gave up on me, continued to make me strive as an athlete, and only made me a better athlete and a better person. And last but not least, Lars, Coach Bowles, and Matt London. They are the reason that I continued to be a collegiate athlete. They are the reason that I was able to graduate as a collegiate athlete, be awarded these things. They never gave up on me. They believed in me during the whole process. And without them, I don't even know if we'd be having this conversation right now.
Greg Allen was a stalwart behind the plate for head coach Ray Pennington's squads from 1966 to 69 and earned all district honors from the NAIA as a senior after hitting .324 with a dozen extra base hits, 7 home runs, and 15 RBIs in just 37 games. A key cog in the Black and Gold's run to a 107 and 23 mark across 4 seasons of baseball, as well as an NAIA district crown in 1969. Allen was selected in the 33rd round of the 1969 MLB amateur draft by the New York Mets.
This is just amazing. This is just a big deal. That's all there is to it. And not so much for me, but my family also. I've got grandchildren. My grandson, Gregory, is an aspiring young baseball player. You know, he's got to be impressed that his pop is a Hall of Famer. Well, that's pretty neat, folks. It really is. My nominating team consisted of 5 Hall of Famers and a distinguished alumni. That speaks volumes for what people think of you. And as far as the community, some of my favorite times are in the late 60s and the crowds that we garnered at our night baseball games. These local folks, oh my goodness gracious alive, they love Pembroke State University baseball, and they supported us so much.
There were so many things Greg taught me from pitching, and I'm sitting here, this guy's a catcher. How does he know so much about pitching? But he had the insight. When the batters came to the batter's box, he could tell the way they stood, the way they swing, what kind of pitch would best serve them, to get them out. And 99% of the time, he was very, very correct on that. I can't say enough about his qualities, but because he had so many. And as far as being a leader on our baseball team, he was like an assistant coach on the field. And he was sort of the strong, silent type. Very seldom said much, but when he spoke, it was like E.F. Hutton was talking. And everybody responded to him that way.
In my experiences, I was surrounded by so many quality people, some of their attributes had to wear off on me, and this is the culmination of that. Dr. Nadeau, Dr. Johnson, Dr. Lois Lewis. I had so many people that helped me during my tenure here at Pembroke, and I'll never forget those folks. As far as my baseball career, exceptional athletes. We had a mixture of speed, power, and pitching second to none. It was truly a pleasure to work with these guys.
Lattie raked in 14 NAIA All-District Awards from 1970 to 74 and 4 individual district titles as a member of the cross-country and indoor-outdoor track and field squads. He also picked up an NAIA All-American honor in 1974 as a member of the mile relay squad, which established a school record that still stands today. Across his 4-year stay in Pembroke, the Braves captured 4 straight NAIA district cross-country titles, 4 NAIA outdoor track and field district crowns, and a trio of top 25 finishes at the NAIA Outdoor Track and Field Championships.
First of all, I'm surprised. It's a place I never thought I'd be able to get to. Then I'm humbled that somebody would remember me after 40 plus years. I think it's something that maybe all of my family might not even know about, that I even ran track and field in college. So I am humbled because I know the quality of the athletes that are already there, especially the track and field athletes. They were all world class. This is a special moment for me.
Lattie, dedication, hard worker, good teammate, always enthusiastic about running. He was not all about Rod, he was about, team. Even though he said, I can beat these guys, he was always encouraging the team as well. There wasn't anybody that we went up against that he didn't feel like we could beat. Rod was also a good friend, not only to me, but to a lot of guys. And even today, we still, best of friends. He comes back to a lot of the football games, was tailgating, and so had a lot of good memories with him.
One of the people I would like to thank is Dr. Edwin Wooten Crane. That was my track and field coach. But he was more than just a track and field and cross-country coach. He was a life coach. If you listen to him and went about taking care of your life the way he told us to, you would end up being okay with everything. But most of us ended up being more than okay, because he taught us that there's a lot of people can outrun you, but it's left up to you if you let them outwork you. Some of us struggled, but there's a lesson in track and field that you can always apply to your life. It's important to get a good start. If you're gonna beat me, you must beat me by passing me. I want to lead the race at some point. But if I get behind, I know how to fight back. And all that's applicable to life.
Bernice Brooks Lowry, one of the pioneers of women's athletics on campus in the early 1950s, makes history tonight as she joins her husband, 1983 inductee Marvin Lowry, to comprise the only husband and wife team in the Athletics Hall of Fame. Bernice, who served the town of Pembroke and Robeson County as an educator for 30 years, proved to be a dominant figure and pioneer of women's athletics during the pre-Title IX era at then Pembroke State College.
Well, at first, when I heard about that I was going to be inducted to the Hall of Fame, I wasn't sure people knew what they were talking about, because I knew my husband was there, but I says, now that just is talk, I believe. But then when I got a letter from the college, from the University of Mr. Cummings, the letter read, yeah, you've been inducted in the Hall of Fame. So then I took it for granted that was true. And we had a team that was so good that the coach would take us to other colleges to play. But he'd tell us when we got on the bus that if we didn't win that game, we wouldn't get to sit beside of our boyfriend. So we made it something that we really wanted to do, so we won a lot of games that way.
I just want to say a big thank you to the committee for selecting Bernice Brooks Lowry in the Hall of Fame. Bernice was a very good basketball player in her day, playing for Pembroke State College. You know, she was just a good, strong guard. She could get that ball from the other end. Somebody better not get in her way. She was a good sport. I never did see her get upset on the basketball court. That was good years.
I want to thank people who always looked after their team and were sure that they were doing the right thing and that they enjoyed it and they wanted to keep on helping them.
The football program's all-time leading rusher, Travis T.D. Daniels, galloped for 3,356 yards and 32 touchdowns on 571 carries for the Braves from 2008 to 2011, while also hauling in 39 receptions for 474 yards and one additional score. A region finalist for the 2011 Harlan Hill Trophy, he earned All-American nods from 3 different organizations following a senior campaign that saw him rack up 1,865 all-purpose yards, including a 1,631-yard, 15-touchdown effort on the ground. That senior year exhibition included a record 247 rushing yards in UNCP's win at Chowan.
It's an honor. It's an honor for me to be able to be inducted to the Hall of Fame. It's all the hard work that I put in since a kid, since I began playing the sport, has finally paid off. So it's a blessing. It's probably one of my biggest accomplishments that I have in my life. So when I think of my proud moments, I like to start with the Fayetteville State game. I was able to score. I was able to run for about 213 yards. They gave me the confidence that I needed to carry me out through the season. I also want to talk about me being a candidate for the Harlan Hill Trophy, along with the Collegiate All-American. Those are very, very proud moments that I had in my career. The friendships that I made, the players I've been around, those guys helped me a lot and just kind of molded me.
Well, I think he was one of the pioneers of the program. I think that's, back in the original days when we started the program, I mean, he was one of the guys that we could count on that gave us great production on the field. Now, you talk about the numbers and the stats, and those were great, but that's not really what I think of when I think of him as being a great football player. I think humility is another word that comes to mind, just in terms of his character. And it's kind of how he carried himself. He presented himself to his teammates that way. He was not flashy. He was not all about himself. He was a team player and, someone that you'd really like to have on your team always.
I would like to thank just God, to be honest, God for allowing me to, the opportunity, God, my parents, just give me the opportunity to play the game that I love. Also the coaches throughout my entire journey, from high school, Pop Warner, college, all the coaches that have helped me. Those guys didn't only just explain the game of football to me, but they showed me how to carry myself as a man. But I couldn't do nothing without my running back crew, the running backs that were in the room with me throughout the years that kind of, helped mold me, push me. We laughed together, and those guys were the best. Those guys were the biggest puzzle. So I want to thank those guys.
One one of the youngest graduates in the history of the University of North Carolina at Pembroke, Ethan Sanford earned a bachelor's degree in biology from UNC Pembroke in 2016 at the age of 19 and completed his PhD in biochemistry, molecular, and cell biology from Cornell this past May. He has received awards at both local and national conferences, including one at the National Gordon Conference on DNA repair in 2020, and recently began his professional career as a senior scientist at Q2 Solutions, a leading global clinical trial laboratory services company in New York.
I'll tell you, I'm so grateful that, UNCP has chosen to recognize me in this way. And I want to say I feel incredibly fortunate to have been selected for this award, because I know there was, a pool of eligible alumni to choose from. Just thinking about people that I graduated with, I know there's doctors, lawyers, business people. So very grateful to be recognized in this way. When I think back on my experience at UNCP and how it prepared me both for my job now and for my PhD program at Cornell, I think one of the things that comes to mind is the Maynard Honors College. So I participated in the Honors College curriculum while at UNCP, and that helped me prepare for my eventual career.
Ethan Sanford is a wonderful individual. He is brilliant, he is kind, he is curious, he is committed and driven, and he's an incredibly generous person to know and to work with. I think that he demonstrates what we mean when we say education changes lives. Because when he came to UNC Pembroke as a young person, he dove into what we had to offer. He challenged himself in the Composition 1 class that I first met him in. He did study abroad. He did research undergraduate experience over the summer in chemistry, I believe, or biology. Incredible mixing of study abroad and humanities with sciences. Just an incredible student who was always curious about the world, always open-minded, always generous with others, and an individual that was inspiring to work with.
I guess I'd just add that, hard work and determination is only a small part of the recipe for success. And probably the most critical factor is having a support network to motivate and inspire you. And I certainly had that at UNCP when I think back to all the faculty mentors I had who invested their time in, exposing me to different career paths and knowledge. Yeah, I have to thank my parents too. They've always been encouraging and supportive of my goals. I think that it empowered me to achieve my full potential, both in graduate school and now in a career.
A 2016 graduate of UNC Pembroke with a degree in chemistry, Kennedi Stewart Henry went on to earn her Doctor of Dental Medicine degree from the East Carolina University School of Dental Medicine in May. Having recently completed her residency in advanced education in general dentistry at ECU, Kennedi returned home to her hometown of Hamlet to begin her practice.
I'm very proud and very thankful, but it also makes me very humbled because I feel like there are so many other people that I feel like are doing a great job as well and doing great things in their community. But it means the world to me. UNCP had a really huge impact on my life, and so I'm honored to be chosen. I was thinking this morning before the interview about how, I'm just a small town girl from Hamlet. I literally grew up 10 minutes down the road from my office here where I am now. And just to think how my life is so different than it was. I began at UNCP in 2013. So within 9 years, my life has changed so much. I was really shy whenever I started at UNCP, and so being able to have more one-on-one time with instructors, I think kind of pulled me out of my shell and offered me a lot of the opportunities that allowed me to become a dentist, to go to East Carolina and become a dentist. And so I am really proud, but I think it's my time at UNCP that got me where I am.
Kennedi is one of the students that she really ask a question in such a way that this science is going to be useful in the real world. I learned from her that yes, anytime you teach any science here, make sure that science is applied in the real world. Coming from a very small town hamlet at Richmond County, and a lot of courage. I want to get my degree in dental school, And she mentioned, another thing here is she mentioned that I want to serve my own population. Not only that, I want to take care of my people with a complex oral health issues. Now she is serving back in Hamlet with the same spirit and motto. She is one of the inspiring personality, very passionate and passionate learning in science. I love her. We need more Kennedys at the school.
I wanted to say thank you again for being chosen, and all my faculty members and the staff at UNCP. I can't name them all because there were so many, but they're definitely the reason why I am where I am today, and so I'm just grateful.
Beaming with pride in their Robeson County roots, as well as their lifelong dedication to education, Hampton Brayboy graduated from then Pembroke State College in 1964, and his soon-to-be wife Pattie earned her degree from PSC 3 years later in 1967. Hampton would later go on to serve 30-plus years as a high school math teacher, and Pattie was a guidance counselor at the same high school for almost 20 years. The establishment of the Hampton and Pattie Brayboy Endowment Scholarship in 1991 has continued the legacy of their efforts to enhance the potential of students in their educational careers.
I think they would definitely be honored. Very rewarding for the, especially the hard work and effort that they put in over their course of their profession. It's an honor. It's an honor for to be a part of it, and they put forth the effort in establishing a scholarship, and this scholarship is in honor of Pattie L. Brayboy and Hampton C. Brayboy Memorial Scholarship, and that was something that Dad had a goal, and he exceeded that goal, and it has affected quite a few students over the last 15, 20 years.
It's provided a lot of students with a chance to go to college. It has changed the trajectory of a lot of students' career path. It gave them a chance. It gave them a chance. And that's what they stood for. That's what they stood for.
Well, they had a passion for education, and it started in the classroom. I brought some chalk that we've had for many years, and I can remember Dad coming home, and he would have it colored. And it just showed a sign that he had a passion for what he done, and it was rewarding.
Both my parents went to school here, graduated from here, and went on to serve the community here for many, many years, and it's a very central part of our family. They would have been very proud of receiving this. They were both very devoted for many, many years, and I think they still initially would have been a little surprised, like, who, me? But I think they would have been very, very honored to receive this.
A longtime supporter and advocate for UNC Pembroke, Paul Willoughby served a 9-year stint on the university's Board of Trustees and earned his bachelor's degree in health and physical education from then Pembroke State University in 1973. Paul coached both the West Brunswick High School and Lumberton High School football teams in the mid-70s and early 80s and served as the owner and operator of 6 McDonald's stores from 1986 to 2019.
First of all, it's great to be honored. This is something that my wife and I always wanted to be able to do, was to be able to give back from where we graduated, where we went to school, because that, I guess, began to form your adult life to go out and earn a living or whatever it might be. And so it's a great honor. We of course weren't expecting that situation, and we're just glad to be able to do it. And the Lord has given us ways to do it, and it's been great to do that. That's always been a priority for us. To have something you're proud of that you were able to give back. And if it wouldn't have been for UNCP, there's no telling how many of us that came through southeastern North Carolina that had to manage funds, and our parents to manage funds in a real resourceful way to be able to get through the school and to continue out to do what we need to do. The biggest thing is what we can do for the kids now, not so much when we're gone, but what we can do for them and help move things forward.
You know, Paul Willoughby's qualities really kind of helped him distinguish the UNC Pembroke brand. Yes, he came to UNC Pembroke and got a degree in education, and he thought his career path was going to be coaching, and he did a stellar job at that at Lumberton High School. But then he realized that maybe there was more, and his entrepreneurship and his persistence with McDonald's is just fantastic. And I think a lot of people look at where someone's at today and they think it just happened. That wasn't the case with Paul and Pat. They made countless number of sacrifices. First off, to get a store, even to become a manager, the sacrifices he made. And I think that really epitomizes what a UNC Pembroke alum does in whatever their chosen field is. They're persistent, they're hardworking, and they're highly competent.
I've got to thank all those folks that actually gave me a second education. Dick Christie over in the athletic department, and of course, when I was doing most of the board work, Dan Kinney was there. Dr. Cummins stays plugged into us, of course. I've got to really feel good about my parents that kept me streamlined towards school, and I can't leave my wife out because she's always helping me, advising me as directions that we need to take and that she would like to do and things that we can do for the school. So she's been a very important person in the direction that we've taken there too.
A 2007 graduate of UNC Pembroke with bachelor's degrees in both political science and Spanish, Vanessa Gonzalez took the encouragement of her professors and earned her Juris Doctorate from the UNC Chapel Hill School of Law in 2011. While in law school, she performed pro bono work for students of immigrant families and soon found her niche in immigration law. She worked in mid-size immigration law firms for several years before opening up her own firm in 2014. A first-generation college student, as well as a single mother, she was selected by her peers as one of North Carolina's legal elite in immigration law and was recently recognized as one of Wilmington's 40 under 40.
For me, it means a lot. It's pretty exciting. I was a first-generation college student. I have a sibling. We're only a year apart, so she also went to college, but we kind of experienced it together. At the first time, I got a scholarship to Pembroke. Shout out, thank you, Pembroke, for helping me out with that. And I didn't really know anything about going to college. I hadn't visited any colleges, and my first college experience was showing up for Admitted Students Day. So to be recognized years later for where I've gone since then reminds me a lot of where I started and the journey that's taken me to this point. I feel really proud. I still, in my current professional job, want to leave some sort of a legacy like that with the student interns that I host, with mentoring young women going through undergrad that might end up in law school or interested in immigration law. Having been invited to be involved in social justice symposiums that recently happened at UNCP that didn't exist when I went there feels really cool.
So Vanessa is truly an advocate for immigrant rights. She's very passionate, she's caring, she loves what she does and she's great at it. I have found her to be a force for good in the community. So she really tackles any issues where people are being oppressed or aren't getting the rights that they deserve. She doesn't mind being their voice. she's also a huge ally for the Latinx community. And so if there's anything that can be done to assist the community, especially with legal work or legal status, she's there to help at all times. Yeah, I really can't think of anyone else that's more deserving for an award like this. As an alum from UNC Pembroke, she has really shown what you can do with your degree and to do better in the community, to help those who need help.
I would like to thank, probably, since we're talking about UNCP, Dr. Liliana Wendorf. She was the chair of foreign languages when I was at UNCP, and I consider her my other mom, my school mom, and my personal mentor, my family, and also whoever decided to throw me that merit scholarship when I was 17 so that I was able to attend at all.